really, in the end, you talk about what's the poll that matters. It's not even the national popular vote, of course, that matters on Election Day. It is the Electoral College math as much as anything. And what I think is really probably the more interesting numbers to look at are in the individual states, as Rebecca pointed out. We've identified sort of 11 key states that we see as this year's battleground that reflects sort of the most competitive states of recent elections, plus some that are on there because of the unique nature of Donald Trump's candidacy. And there, Democrats have had a pretty built-in advantage in recent presidential elections. That's why they've had this long winning streak in presidential races. And that's what's interesting, is that Trump has now pulled even or ahead in key battlegrounds where he looked quite out of the running. For example, there were several surveys this week that looked at Ohio, which is perhaps our most bellwether state, and that had him running slightly ahead there. Dead even tied in Florida. And that's very interesting because it's been assumed, actually, that of all the very competitive, even too close to call presidential states, Florida obviously was the one that decided 2000 presidential race, that Trump would have bigger troubles there because of the rising Hispanic population and his apparent targeting of Hispanics with his comments about Mexicans and the wall, for example. And yet, interestingly enough, despite disorganization in his campaign in Florida, which is reflected in many of the states, actually, he's just not running a super professionalized operation. And yet, even with all of those factors, it looks like he's running dead even with her in Florida. And then there are the states, like Jeff pointed out, like Colorado and also Virginia, where it had appeared that Hillary Clinton was taking those off the map, that she was actually close to locking down those as Democratic states, and yet they seem to be still competitive now in the middle of September.